everyone, this is Elka Osadnik, Head of Business Affairs with Delesio Law Group. Today we're coming to you live to talk about the Diversity Lottery, so otherwise known as the Green Card Lottery. I know I've discussed this before, but now is the time to mention it again, seeing though the results were just drawn in the last week or so. So first of all, congratulations if your number was drawn and you're now going on to further processing. That's fantastic. If your number wasn't drawn, please do not be discouraged. As I've said in the past, my number didn't come up until after 12 years of entering. So I feel like the odds are pretty good a lot of the time. So just keep going and do not give up. So if your number was drawn, first thing to know is, and don't freak out, it doesn't mean you're definitely getting your green card. It's not, yay, it's a done deal. It just means it's been selected for further processing. So now there's a process that you need to go through. And just in terms of timeframes, be aware that really the green card processing can now take pretty much a year until you have the actual green card. There are certain stages that the processing will go through, and that all depends on what number was on the letter that you received from immigration about being selected. So when I say a low number, it means a number closer to zero. A high number may be tens of thousands away from zero. If you're in the first 1,000, that tends to sometimes from history be a pretty good number in terms of hopefully getting through the whole process. It really now depends on how many people in the world had their number drawn and how many people are going to respond and go through the further processing to then get their green card. Some people get drawn and they don't do anything about it, or they forget, they don't check in time, all of that kind of stuff. So what you need to now do is make sure you go through the process and that you go through the process exactly as is outlined on the letter that you received. Now you do have options in terms of whether you do that yourself, which you can do, or if you use a law firm to do that for you. As you know, in the past, I chose personally to use a law firm that specialised in immigration before Delesio Law Group was even around, because I didn't want to take my chances. It was like 12 years in the making, and I was like, this ain't the time to risk butchering this. And if anyone's going to do it, it's probably going to be me, because I'm so focused on getting it right, I'm going to do something wrong. So I used an attorney. It was the best decision I made. Basically what happens is they respond to the stages of processing for you. So what typically happens is, imagine there's this huge bulk recruitment drive of trying to get all these people processed for their DV lottery win, and the only way for immigration to manage it is to do it in chunks. So people drawn between these numbers will have to respond in this period of time that they're told on their letter. People who are these numbers will be told a different window of time to respond, and so on and so forth. And then once you've responded to one stage, you're then contacted again about, okay, now you need to do this by this date, and then you respond again to that request. Then again you get contacted by immigration, now you need to do this by this date. So your job is to always respond as you're directed within the dates that you are told for your number. So something to keep in mind is, and this, because this can really mess things up, please do not be so efficient and wonderful and amazing like we would in maybe a job where we think, let's get ahead of the game and let's be super efficient, and then respond a day early to anything. If you don't respond within those windows you are told, you can mess the whole thing up. So please don't get in early, please don't get in late. It's very important that you follow the process accurately. That's where an attorney can really help and make sure everything is done in the right time frame. You have a medical to go through, you have an interview to go through, all of those things. If you are also in a situation like I was, where I was on an O1 visa in the US and I wanted to process my win, I didn't want to necessarily go home and pay for the airfare back to Australia. I was able to do through my attorney what was known as an adjustment of status from O1 status to green card status. Ultimately, it cost less with the attorney than a flight to Australia. So that for me was the best decision I could have made. So I ended up staying here, having my interview in LA, and processing everything here, and it was a done deal. It was fine. So that's something to keep in mind as well. So I hope that bit of information is really helpful to you. Again, if you do want our help here at D'Alessio Law Group, we can give you a free consultation to just talk you through the process we would go through and give you a quote. So contact us through the Facebook page or through our website, and we'll be more than happy to help. So yeah, and sorry I've had a bad hair day today, so we'll get that fixed for next time. But thank you, and I hope that's been helpful.